The truck was already rolling when the locks failed. 40 feet of armored steel humming down Interstate 5, security lights off, drivers asleep inside the cab. And somewhere in the darkness behind them, a shadow vehicle matching speed. What the guards did not know yet was that $100 million in diamonds, emeralds, gold chains, and luxury watches were no longer fully theirs to protect. One mistake had already been made. Another was about to happen. And there is one detail about this moment that law enforcement would not uncover for weeks. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe if you love scam and heist stories that feel too insane to be real. Because this one only gets darker from here. Also, let me know in the comments where you are watching from right now, because this story traveled across states just like the truck you are about to meet. The summer of 2022 had been brutal in California. Pressed down on asphalt like a weight, and the jewelry industry was doing what it always did in July. Trade shows, high-stakes deals. Millions of dollars exchanged in hotel ballrooms that smelled like carpet cleaner and quiet panic. In San Mateo, the International Gem and Jewelry Show wrapped up with vendors packing diamonds into plastic cases, gold into velvet trays, and watches into foam cutouts that cost more than most cars. Every exhibitor trusted the same thing when the show ended: armored transport. Brink's was the name on the truck, and that name carried weight. Decades of reputation, guns, protocols, insurance policies thicker than phone books. The vendors handed over their merchandise, believing it would be safer inside that truck than in their own homes. What they did not know was that someone had already been watching them for days. Surveillance footage later showed the first mistake. The armored truck did not leave alone. As it exited the show, a dark SUV fell in behind it. No plates visible. No sudden movements, just patience. The kind of patience that does not come from desperation, but from planning. The route was simple: San Mateo to Los Angeles. Hundreds of miles of highway. Overnight drive, drivers rotated shifts. Doors locked, cargo sealed. On paper, it was flawless. In reality, it was predictable. Somewhere near Buttonwillow, California, the truck pulled into a rest stop just before 2 a.m. This was allowed. Human bodies need bathrooms. Security protocols allow for short stops as long as one guard remains alert. That night, both guards slept. That single sentence cost $100 million. The thieves moved fast, but not rushed. They did not smash windows. They did not fire weapons. There was no shouting, no alarms screaming into the desert night. They accessed the cargo compartment with precision, taking 24 bags. Each bag weighed between 35 and 50 pounds. Inside were diamonds measured in millions per handful. Gold chains thick enough to strain necks, Rolexes, Breitlings, and custom pieces that had never even been photographed yet. They did not take everything. That is important. They took what they wanted. That tells you something about who they were. By the time the guards woke up, the truck was lighter. The locks showed tampering, but not damage. The SUV was gone. The highway was empty. And $100 million had evaporated into the California night. Law enforcement arrived, expecting chaos. They found silence. No shell casings. No witnesses. No blood. This was not a robbery. It was a removal. Investigators quickly realized this was not random. The thieves knew the exact truck. They knew the exact stop. They knew how long the guards would be asleep. And they knew what bags to take. This narrowed the suspect pool dramatically, but it also introduced a terrifying possibility. Someone inside the system had talked. The jewelry industry panicked quietly. Vendors refused interviews. Insurance companies froze payouts. Every dealer wanted to know the same thing. Were there pieces among the stolen bags, or were they safe? Many would not find out for months. As details leaked, the number solidified. Approximately $100 million. The largest jewelry heist in United States history. larger than museum thefts, larger than most bank robberies, and it happened without a single gunshot. Authorities initially claimed there was no threat to the public. That was technically true, but it ignored a darker reality. Stolen diamonds do not sit still. They move, they get cut, reset, melted, broken down into pieces small enough to vanish forever. And somewhere out there, someone was already doing exactly that. What made investigators uneasy was not the theft itself. It was what they could not find. No cameras captured faces. No toll booths flagged suspicious activity. Cell phone data was clean. It was as if the thieves knew exactly how the system watched people and how to step between the frames. One FBI agent would later describe the case as a ghost robbery. Evidence existed, but not where it should. And still, one question haunted the investigation. How did they know the guards would sleep? When the first stone resurfaced, nobody announced it. There was no press conference, no dramatic seizure photo released to the media. It happened quietly, the way all serious criminal operations prefer. A loose diamond appeared in a private sale, recut and regraded. Its original shape gone forever. To an untrained eye, it was just another high-quality stone. To federal investigators, it was a fingerprint screaming from across an ocean. That single diamond confirmed what authorities feared most. The $100 million jewelry heist was already past the point of recovery. The FBI task force expanded almost immediately. What had started as a California cargo theft investigation now involved interstate commerce violations. International smuggling, organized crime specialists, and financial crimes analysts. Jewelry is not like cash. You can track serial numbers, laser inscriptions, proprietary cuts, except when you can, not. And whoever planned this heist knew exactly how to erase identity. Investigators reconstructed the timeline with obsessive precision. The jewelry show in San Mateo, the loading window, the exact order in which vendors handed over their merchandise, the placement of bags inside the armored truck. It became clear that the thieves had not just followed the truck. They had studied the entire operation days, possibly weeks, in advance. Security footage from the convention center revealed something unsettling. Several individuals entered the show repeatedly without making purchases. They lingered near transport desks. They watched which exhibitors packed last. They observed how Brink's employees verified manifests. One man, described as calm, well-dressed, and unremarkable, appeared on camera for separate days. He never interacted with vendors. He simply watched. By the time agents identified him as a person of interest, he was gone. The rest stop near Buttonwillow became sacred ground for investigators. Tire marks were measured. Trash bins were searched. Nearby cameras were pulled. Nothing useful surfaced. The thieves had chosen the location carefully. Limited surveillance, easy highway access, multiple exit routes. It was a textbook logistics decision, not a criminal impulse. The guard statements were consistent. Too consistent, some thought. Both admitted falling asleep. Both passed polygraph tests. Neither had financial red flags. Their mistake was human, not malicious. But that did not stop lawsuits from raining down. Vendors accused Brink's of negligence. Brink cited policy language about unattended stops. Insurance companies stalled payments, demanding proof that certain bags were actually on the truck at the time of the theft. Behind closed doors, the jewelry industry was tearing itself apart. Some vendors went bankrupt, waiting for settlements. Others quietly paid out of pocket to keep reputations intact. Trust, once broken, did not come back easily. Entire supply chains were rewritten because of one night on Interstate 5. Meanwhile, investigators followed the money. Unlike cash, stolen jewelry has to move. It must be sold, traded, broken down, or transported. That movement leaves traces, customs records, shipping anomalies, informal markets. The FBI worked with international partners, particularly in Belgium, Israel, India, and the United Arab Emirates, all major hubs in the global diamond trade. What they found was disturbing, but not surprising. Small parcels, under-declared values, frequent shipments just below reporting thresholds, stones re-entering the market in fragments, not sets, rings without matching necklaces, watches stripped of serial numbers and resold as parts. This was not reckless, it was methodical. One investigator compared it to laundering water through sand, slowly, quietly, until nothing recognizable remained. As months passed with no arrests, rumors hardened into theories. The most persistent one involved insider knowledge. Not necessarily a guard, but someone with access to routing data. Someone who knew when trucks stopped. Someone who understood which shows carried the highest value cargo. Brink's denied any internal breach. Officially, no employee was charged. Unofficially, several were dismissed without explanation. Security protocols changed overnight. 2-driver sleep rules were enforced. Rest stops were restricted. Trucks began using decoy vehicles on high-value routes. The industry learned its lesson the expensive way. The public, however, barely noticed. There were no dramatic shootouts, no masked men caught on camera, no viral footage. Without violence, the story faded from headlines. But within law enforcement circles, the case became legendary. Not because of the money, but because of the restraint. Most major robberies fail because someone panics, someone talks, someone gets greedy. This crew did none of that. They took only what they could move safely. They left no witnesses worth threatening. They vanished into the background noise of global trade. One agent described the crime as offensively intelligent. Years later, when asked if the jewels would ever be recovered, officials were blunt. No, the original pieces are gone. Melted, recut, distributed. What remains are whispers, fragments, insurance documents. The case is technically open. In reality, it is finished. And that is what makes it terrifying, because it proves something criminals and corporations both hate admitting. You do not need violence to steal fortunes. You need patience, information, and the ability to wait for someone else to blink. The guards blinked. The industry paid. And somewhere, someone still knows exactly how easy it was. If you think this scam was thrilling, wait until you hear about the next one. Subscribe to ScamSphere, because the next story makes this heist look like a warm-up.